Mystery of ancient structures and so-called footprints of the gods on the moon. Science may know many things about the universe, but the question, do aliens exist, is still unanswered. Ancient history speaks of gods that came from stars, which in modern terms are known as ancient astronauts to us, and some believe they were extraterrestrials. Gene Cernan was the last man who worked on the moon in 1972, and since then humans are trying to return to this humongous satellite of our Earth. Meanwhile, many videos and photos bombarded the internet claiming to identify the artificial structures on the moon, and researchers and theorists hint at the existence of unknown civilizations that may have landed on the lunar craters before us. There are mysterious monuments and artifacts on the moon. A fascinating report published by the American magazine Argosy in August 1970, entitled Mysterious Monuments on the Moon, where the author Ivan T. Sanderson discusses the two strange solid structures captured by Luna 9 and Orbiter 2 on the moon, and according to the author, these objects were arranged in definite geometric patterns that seemed to be placed artificially. The author wrote, "The Luna 9 photographs taken February 4th, 1966, after the craft had landed in the ocean of storms, revealed two straight lines of equidistant stones that looked like the markers along an airport runway. These circular stones are all identical and are positioned at an angle that produces a strong reflection from the sun, which would render them visible to descending aircraft. The photo was observed by Russian experts, Dr. S. Ivanov and engineer Dr. A. Bruenko. They stated, "We can affirm that the distance between the stones 1, 3, 2, and 4 is equal. The stones are identical in measurement. There does not seem to be any height or elevation nearby from which the stones could have been rolled and scattered into this geometric form. The objects as seen in 3D seem to be arranged according to definitive geometric laws." The second set of photographs was taken by Orbiter 2 November 20th, 1966, 29 miles above the lunar surface over the Sea of Tranquility. And the photographs of an area some 2,000 miles from the runway, reported by Russians on the Ocean of Storms, show what appears to be the shadows of 8-pointed spires shaped like Cleopatra's Needle, the ancient Egyptian obelisk now in Central Park in New York, and the Washington Monument. The scientific study entitled Image Analysis of Unusual Structures on the Far Side of the Moon in the Crater Paracelsus C was published in the Journal of Space Exploration. The authors present an analysis of Apollo 15 and Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter images of two unusual features in the crater Paracelsus C on the far side of the moon. It features some unusual structures of the moon that are not the result of its own any known natural processes. The truth is that similar reports have been made throughout the years. One of the first people to mention strange structures on the moon is Georgia Leonard, who wrote a book in 1976 titled Somebody Else is on the Moon. And 5 years after, Fred Scheckling published another book titled We Discovered Alien Bases on the Moon, detailing curious formations on its surface. Regarding the Clementine mission, which found evidence of ice on the moon's south pole, NASA physicist Dr. John Brandenburg shocked everyone with his comment. According to Dr. Brandenburg, he said it was the Clementine mission, a photo reconnaissance mission, basically to check out if someone was building bases on the moon that we didn't know about. Were they expanding them? Of all the pictures I've seen from the moon that show possible structures, the most impressive is an image of a mile-wide rectilinear structure. This looked unmistakably artificial, and it should not be there. As somebody in the space defense community, I look on any such structure on the moon with great concern because it is not ours. There's no way we could have built such a thing. and it means someone else is up there, he said. Footprints of the Gods? NASA's unexplained files revealed how scientists were briefly left scratching their heads when it appeared that an unknown walk had taken place on the moon. Apollo 17 astronaut Harrison Schmitt is the most recent person to walk on the moon in 1972. 40 years later, when NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter sent back high-resolution images of the moon in 2009, there appeared footprints 30 miles away from Apollo 17 landing spot. NASA's lunar scientist Peter Schultz claimed they looked like strange footprints marching across the surface. You wonder what caused them. And author William Burns went one step further. He added, it's not just that they are shaped like footprints, but it's the path. It's one foot, then the other. It's almost like somebody had been walking on the moon. They look like this kind of trails you would see in the desert, but the problem is they are not human size. Though scientists could not solve the mystery of these so-called footprints of the gods, they provided an alternative explanation for it. They believe that these linear chains of holes are the surface expression of the buried tube of lava that had been carrying magma billions of years ago. Many scientists, astronauts, and highly ranked officials have spoken out about anomalous structures and the presence of otherworldly beings on the surface of the moon. Dr. Edgar Mitchell, a science doctorate, a former NASA astronaut, and the sixth man to walk on the moon, once said, "Read the books, read the lore, start to understand what has really been going on, because there is no doubt that we are being visited. The universe that we live in is much more wondrous, exciting, complex, and far-reaching than we were ever able to know up to this point in time. Mankind has long wondered if we are alone in the universe, but only in our period do we really have evidence. No, we're not alone," is what he said. This is by Vicky Vermehausen Wise. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.